Welcome to the 2A Brotherhood Podcast.
Proudly sponsored by Goliath Defense and Cock Firearms.
How copy over.
All right. Well, welcome to the 2A Brotherhood Podcast, everybody. Today, we have Colin. He's one of our sponsors. What the heck is going on? Is someone sharing their screen? What's going on?
No, I think it's you.
Alrighty then. Bang. No?
Technical issues. Sorry, y'all.
God dang, man. Sorry, everybody. Oh, there we go. There we go. Hey, so welcome to the 2A Brotherhood Podcast. Today we have Colin with Goliath Defense. How you been, man?
Good, man. Things have been pretty crazy since the last time we had our podcast. I think that was like a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Almost. I think it was maybe just under a year ago was the last one. Since then, we were previously Anchor Point Holsters, and since then we've done a brand name change to Goliath Defense, and kind of made a lot of shifts in the company. And there's a lot of things we're looking forward to in the future, and a lot of things that God has really kind of brought in my lap. That's kind of surprising. So things have been good. Personal life's good. We had another boy since our last podcast, and yeah, man, we're kind of experiencing some of the favor that the Lord's been giving us from being faithful. So it's been awesome.
Yeah.
That's always good.
There you go, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and having a healthy boy or a healthy kid, period, is always a true blessing. So,
Yep.
Yeah, we're. I'm actually currently trying for our second, me and my wife. So, fingers crossed for us. Keep us in your prayers for that. You know.
Yeah.
to get a boy out of her.
Hey, whatever God blesses us with, I'm fine with. If I end up just being a girl dad, I'm cool with it. You know.
Deep down inside, you won't be. It's okay. Like with me and my wife, I always told her, I was like, if we're gonna have 3 kids, it's because we had 2 girls, and then we're trying for a third, and then if we get another girl, I'm gonna pray to God and be like, what did I do to you?
That's awesome. Yeah, man, having 2 boys it's definitely, we haven't really experienced the a lot of parenting quite yet, because our oldest is just about 3 years old. So he's toddlers are toddlers.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of exciting because like we're trying to. I would personally love if we had like 3 boys and 1 girl, and the girl was the youngest. I think that'd be kind of fun. My wife's the youngest of her siblings, and she's the only girl. So the youngest of her siblings, and she's the only girl. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what just happened with that.
No, Josh just logged back in. That's why.
Yeah, I think it would have, if we were to have a boy, like it would have been cool to have the boy as like the older one, you know, the first to watch after his sister. But my daughter actually is about to turn 3, and she is an absolute monster. Like that kid can beat the hell out of me. All right, so honestly, I'm not worried for her right now. She's a feisty one for sure.
Dude, all the toddlers are, man.
Yeah.
All of them. They have no fear. They're like, what? What are you going to do? You're like 10 times my size, so what?
Dude,
The
Yeah,
crazy thing that people don't like, that kind of frustrates me with toddlers is like they're still, I hate the term terrible twos because like
hmm
they're literally a tiny human being that's learning how to become a human being, and so like
hmm
when they get frustrated with things, that's all they know how to communicate with is because they can't quite say words yet, and so
Mm.
we're kind of really trying to work through that, even just in our own uh, you know personal parenting skills and being able to recognize that like it's a 2-year-old person who doesn't know how to like
hmm
life correctly yet.
Yeah.
Uh, so having some grace, and patience, but
hmm
also having a good healthy balance of discipline and all that. So it's
Yeah.
tough, but it's the most fulfilling thing in my entire
It
life. So
is.
Yeah. Well,
It gives you purpose. You know
my
what I
yeah.
mean?
daughter today, she wanted me to get on the floor and play with her like directly after work, right? So I'm tired. And I'm like, just let me sit on the couch for a little bit. I'll play with you while I sit on the couch, you know. And she literally stomped her foot, pointed at the floor, and said, "On the floor now." I said, "Excuse me, ma'am." Excuse me. And she jumped on me like a spider monkey, and just pulled me down that floor, and I was like, "Well, I guess I'm sitting on the floor now." You know, like there's nothing I can do to fight you now. She's yeah, no, they are learning a lot when they're two. Just the amount of development they go through is crazy, man. Like thinking back to when my daughter first turned 2, and now she's close to being 3, and it's like it's a whole different kid, you know.
Yeah. It goes fast too.
Yeah.
So, Colin, I know you rebranded the Goliath Defense. What have you guys been up to?
Yeah. So I'll kind of give you a little bit of backstory of kind of why we did that. I think we talked about it a little bit, like very briefly in our last podcast.
Yeah.
I kind of had a teaser banner up in the background, and I hadn't
Yep.
hadn't quite released the brand change yet. But honestly, it kind of stemmed from a realization that this is truly what the Lord is calling me to do. Um, I'll reiterate the story a little bit for anybody who hasn't seen the other podcasts. But when we started this company, it was really just a way to make a side hustle, just supplementary income. I didn't really see it going anywhere. Um, and over the years, people really kind of latched on to it and grew close to the vision and the mission and just the overall approach that we've been taking. And I back in, let's see, when was this? 2023, I think October 2023 is when I felt like the Lord was telling me to quit my job as a full-time pastor. Um, and he had moved back to Albany, where we're based out of, where both my wife and I's family's parents live. Um, and he told me that I was to pursue ministry in the marketplace. He put this business in front of me, kind of surprisingly, honestly. It's not something that I ever really thought about that I would be doing because I've been a music nerd for like my entire life. I've always been involved in ministry, and I still am involved in ministry. But um, things kind of started catching a wildfire a little bit when we moved back to Albany. As I said before, we didn't really understand why we were to do it, but we just knew that we were supposed to. And so we moved back, and um, we decided to step away from ministry for a little bit. I think we were just kind of at the crux of that time frame when we had our last podcast, um, and we started planning a church here in Albany with someone who reached out to me. Which this Sunday is coming up on our 1 year anniversary at that church, which is pretty cool. Um, and I really felt like the Lord was telling me, "Hey, I put this brand in front of you. I put this business in front of you with this audience that you're able to reach. You have a whole community in front of you, that I've called you back to access. And I really started feeling a conviction towards not just making money on products. And I've always, with Anchor Point holsters, I was always never about just making money. I wanted there to be some kind of mission behind it, and I truly do and always did want there to be an impact, um, in some way, and whether that be something as minute as making someone a quality holster so they can go train with their buddies and feel safe, while doing so. There's that. But the Lord really downloaded this idea, um, into my mind about a company that not only made products that would equip citizens well, but would also inspire them to change themselves, then therefore expanding out of that, being able to change their families and their communities, and then expanding out of that, be able to change their states and the country and eventually the world. Um, and we all know that, even if you look at politics, in order to affect change that will directly be seen by you, you need to go to your local politicians. You need to go to the local sheriff's department. You need to go through, the state level. And you're not, if there's an issue in your community, you don't go straight to the president, because it's just never going to affect change. And so the unfortunate thing that a lot of people don't realize is that, um, there are, and this just kind of stems from being faith based. There is the human condition that we all fall under. We are sin or we all sin and fall short of the glory of God. We are all flawed. And in order to affect the change that everybody so wants, the answer is not to change people. The answer is to change yourself. Um, and so we kind of came up with this idea that, like, in in the world of the 2A industry, but not even just 2A, but more like, self-defense and citizen defense, and um, self-preparedness and protectiveness. There is this idea that there are bad actors out in the world. We can reference the scripture that says we do not, we fight against powers and principalities, not against flesh and blood. And in that, I see that there are so-called Goliaths in our world. There are giants out in the world that we must face, that we need to conquer, and oftentimes one of those giants is yourself. And so that's where the name kind of came from. It's kind of funny. A lot of people think that, um, I'm honoring Goliath, the Philistine from the Old Testament. But really, it's about, building a company that is in defense against Goliath, not a defense of Goliath. And so we want to inspire people to kind of be like little Davids, out in the world. And there might be, whether that be literal physical human beings that try to come and attack you physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever, or it could be circumstances, it could be burdens, it could be, um, you know yourself. How can we kind of take up our own sling, and through faith in God, trusting that He will help us conquer those giants, how can we do that? And so that's where the name Goliath Defense kind of came from. Um, and from that, I was like, okay, we got to do more than just holsters. We can't really help people. We can't inspire people to change by just building holsters. So, that's why we kind of went towards the firearms training side of things. Um, and so in February of this year, I got my, NRA firearms instructor license and my range safety officer license. And we've been able to teach, basic pistol courses, concealed carry classes, intermediate pistol courses, advanced pistol courses. And then we're also working on, um, our medical training. So I have a buddy of mine who is looking into, CPR certification to be able to teach CPR classes. Um, And then of course we have the product side. So right now it's kind of from a practical standpoint, this is our business model has expanded from just selling holsters and things that are like holsters in that space, and we've actually kind of locked in on three different columns. So our first column is the firearms training column. This will be like uh, the concealed carry classes, basic courses, anything related to actual firearms training. Second column is medical training, CPR classes, stop the bleed, stuff like that. And then the third tier or the third column is products. So holsters, we're working on our FFL application, which is why we got this shop so that we can actually sell guns in the community. And then basically any product that aligns with our goal, which is ultimately to equip citizens and inspire change. So that's kind of where we're at. There's a whole story of how we got into this shop. Is kind of miraculous, honestly. So we can go into that at some point, but that's where we're at, man. We're just walking through doors that the Lord opens, and it's none of it's me, none of it's my business partners. It's all God. So it's been really there's something about just letting go and letting God and just like being like, all right, I trust you. If you want to give us favor in this area, we believe that this is something we're supposed to do and that we're convicted to do, and so we're going for it. And He's just been like blessing after blessing after blessing. So
Amen, man.
sorry, that was a long answer.
Nah, amen, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta trust in him.
Right.
Roberto,
Why
Yeah.
the fuck do they keep getting muted?
because your mic is very loud.
Yeah, I was just
So-
talking for like 2 minutes and I found out I was muted.
Well, at least you didn't interrupt Colin. Sorry,
Well,
I
I
didn't
waited
mean
till
to
after he
interrupt
was
you.
done.
Oh, got you.
No, I waited till after he was done. Yeah, but all right. But yeah, no, man, that's awesome. I think that's how we're designed, is to walk with the Lord and kind of let Him take over, and just just kind of release our own input and let Him have the path, guide us in the path of our life.
Yeah. And
So-
that's honestly that's the only way to do it, man. Like if we try to walk in it on our own, we're just gonna stumble and it's gonna fall short no matter what. And I found that time and time again with trying to be like, all right, God, this is what I want to do, and like your idea is good and like kind of cool, but like this is what I'm gonna do, and then it's like all right, bash you up against the head, like that's not a good idea, buddy. So
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he disciplines the ones he loves, so
yep.
you know what I mean? But so you mentioned on Stop the Bleed. Are you teaching that class? Did you get certified in that, or do you have a other instructor that comes in?
Yeah, so we're trying to do everything in house. I personally would prefer to do that. Only not only does it cut out the middleman, it saves us money, but I don't want to be pushing classes and training for things that we ourselves are not capable of doing. So I have a business partner who's getting certified alongside with me, but I am personally making sure that I am certified in everything that we teach.
Okay.
So if everything falls apart and I end up being the guy again, I want to be able to still keep the company alive and be able to do that. So right now I'm focusing heavily on firearms training, mostly concealed carry classes and like basic pistol courses, and then I'm bringing in a couple guys to help with manufacturing holsters, to kind of get that off my plate. So
No.
That's
Hey,
cool.
you work hard at being the boss, or eventually, you can find other people to do some of that work. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
yeah, I mean it's not going to scale if you don't if you don't do that. That's just a common, that's a business practice, that's a ministry practice. Um, in ministry, your goal should be to work yourself out of a job. You should be discipling people and raising them up to be able to take your position so that you can go on to bigger and better things, or whatever the next thing that God has for you. And I honestly believe that if you're unwilling to do so, then you're almost being disobedient, because if there's another chapter that the Lord wants you to move into, but you're holding yourself back from doing that because you're like, oh man, I got to be the guy that does all these things. Um, so, and from just a practical business standpoint, like we just will not grow if I'm too close chested with everything.
Yeah.
So I guess it wasn't really a hard decision for you to make.
I want to say that. It's, I mean, this has been my baby for over 3 years now.
Yeah.
So I honestly, that's kind of one of my vices, is I tend to be the person that, like, I'll just do it myself because I know that it'll get done the right way. And that's kind of how I've always been.
Yeah.
And I've learned that again through doing ministry. I've learned to be able to let go of that a little bit. And oftentimes, if you let other people do your certain jobs, they'll do it better and more efficiently. And so it's definitely been difficult. I do have a little bit of imposter syndrome, especially getting the storefront now. Like, my wife and I cleaned out our garage like 2 weeks ago to move all of our stuff over, or all of the shop stuff over here. And we were like, man, we realized that I started the company about 2 years into us being married. And the first 2 years we were living in an apartment, and we got into a house the first year that I started the business. So we've never had a garage before. Like, we've always just used our garage space for the shop. And so when we cleaned out the garage and put all this other stuff, or moved all the shop stuff over to the brick and mortar location, we're like, whoa, what is this life?
Look
And
at all
like,
this extra space.
look at all this extra space. And we're actually moving into a bigger house in about 2 months. So it's gonna be kind of crazy. But yeah, the imposter syndrome is very real. Right now we're kind of working through some permits and some other things with the city. So like we don't actually have customers coming in yet. But I think once that happens, then it's gonna be like, whoa, this is the real deal. So
Yeah.
Well, one of the things you mentioned is that you were trying to get your FFL. Can you
yep.
go over like the process of getting a FFL, at least in Oregon?
Yeah. So it's pretty simple, actually. It's not as daunting as I think a lot of people think it is. So you can literally look up FFL application, just Google it. You go to the ATF website, you download their application, you fill out. It's basically a 4473, just like when you would buy a gun. You fill out that whole section. You have to fill out. There's a section about like where your location is going to be. Is it zoned properly for bringing in an FFL? All that kind of like red tape, BS kind of stuff. But we've applied for our Type 7, and eventually we're going to go Type 702 so that we can do like suppressors and SBRs.
Class 3.
And it's only $150 for a Type 7. So it's not that expensive. And so basically you send in fingerprints, which I can do because I do concealed carry classes. So I just fingerprinted myself and sent that in with my application. You send in a photo that goes along with your application. And that's, after that, you'll have an ATF agent contact you. They'll ask you some questions, and then they'll schedule an official interview process. So then the interview, they'll come into your site, your location. They'll kind of inspect it to make sure that like it's secure enough, or if it's not secure enough, to they'll give you tips on how to make it secure enough to hold firearms. And then you have, I believe, 30 days after you get approved to be an FFL to make any adjustments. to be able to get it. Now, honestly, working with the ATF has been the easiest part. It's been the biggest issue has been with the city. So when we moved into this space, I intentionally was looking at what kind of zone it was. We're in a light industrial zone, which I don't know. I don't know if like nationally light industrial is the same like across the board. But what I do know is that with light industrial, you can have a retail section of your business so long as there's it's not the majority. And that perfectly describes us. We have majority manufacturing, and we'll have a small retail operation. And the city of Albany was like, "Hey, you're gonna have to spend $2,500 to go through a conditional land use review because you're in a light industrial zone and you cannot have retail in light industrial. And it's gonna take 10 weeks to go through a review process, and you're gonna have to go to a public hearing in front of a judge and explain to them that you're gonna be changing the land use to retail." And I was like, hold on a second. This is not right. I looked up the Albany Municipal Code and was like, actually, light industrial says that you can have a majority manufacturing with a small retail operation, so you're wrong. And she's like, no, I don't think so. And she said, let me check on that, puts me on hold, calls him back and says, yeah, you're good. Go for it. And I'm like, thank you for almost making me spend $3,000 and like 3 months of my life wasted. So right now we're just waiting on
Lack
some
of
permit
research.
stuff. Lack of research. Yeah, exactly.
It's our job
So-
to know, right?
Right. Dude, it's like going to Home Depot now. It's like, do you know where this is? And they just pull out their phone and they like put it in the app. I'm like, I can do that myself. Thank you.
Yeah, what's that? Is that Parks and Rec where he goes to Lowe's and he's like, I know this place better than you do. It's like,
Dude, I
Yeah.
went to Home Depot the other day because my wife is like really big on like TikTok trends, and they have these Home Depot Halloween buckets, and she was just dying for one. And we've been getting like on a real big storage bin kick. Everything is going into a storage bin that's in the basement, and so I was at Home Depot and I was getting storage bins, and she was just blowing me up. Was like, get the Halloween buckets, get the Halloween buckets. So I go up to the sales associate or one of the people there, and I was like, hey, where are your guys' Halloween buckets? And this guy proceeds to hand me a regular Home Depot 5-gallon bucket. And I was like, that's not the Halloween bucket. And then he pulls up his phone to Google what the Halloween bucket was. And
because it's orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, we're just sold out." I was like, "How did you have to look up what your own like freaking inventory is? Like not even the fact if you had it or not, but just what it is."
Isn't
Oh,
Home,
where it is.
You work
Home
here.
Depot's orange, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But,
a
like,
good
you
way to
work
trick
here,
the
why
old
did-
lady and save the $2 extra that it has a pumpkin on it. Here you go, honey. It's orange.
Here's a thing of paint. Make it happen.
Oh man. No, but yeah, I went through that exact same stage, Austin. Everything down here is in storage bins.
Yeah.
They're all the same, dude.
Yeah.
Did you know that there's a like bin store? Like
Yeah.
there's a store for just nothing but bins and
Yeah, isn't it called like the Container Store or something like
The
that?
Container Store, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Don't tell my wife. Like I've been.
Oh,
that has
bro,
been
it was-
hard kept
We
secret
have-
in my house.
We have one just like an hour north of us, and bro, it's like I don't know if you guys wives like go to Target like it's Disneyland, but my wife likes to go to the Container Store like it's Disneyland, and it's like, ooh, we can go and look at like all different shapes of the same container for 2 hours and like walk away with nothing. It's like, oh my gosh.
See, I'm very blessed in the fact that my wife's not super big on Target. She's kind of big on Walmart, but if you put her in front of a Dollar Tree, she'll start spazzing out. Okay,
My wife
At least
loves
she's
Target.
cheap.
you put her in front of a Dollar Tree, and you better break out the wallet because she's buying everything in that store.
Dude, this is how I knew that I was in trouble because the first year we were married, my wife came home. I was at work and like she went to Target and I came home and this was around Christmas time and she came home with like hundreds of dollars of Christmas decorations from Target. She spent like $600 at Target on Christmas decor. And I'm like, all right, we're gonna have a budget meeting next week. Let's not do that anymore.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad, bro.
No, my our budget's basically as long as the bills are paid, she gets to spend what's ever left. That's basically how the budget's been working for her, which is great for her, but absolute shit for me. I tell you. But no, she's actually been. I was talking with you about this earlier, Dimitri. She's actually been making fun of me recently. I just found out that I have something called
Oh.
aphantasia. Right? Do you know what that is? So, I found out over a TikTok video, which I did research and verify that it's an actual thing. I have something called aphantasia. I didn't know that people can see pictures in their mind. Like you could just like imagine like an apple and see an apple. I didn't know that was like a real thing because I can't do that.
Wow.
And
Really? That's crazy.
so my wife's been like constantly making fun of me for it now.
Hold on, like see an apple in your head or actually see one, like hallucinate one,
No, like an image
Like
of an
picture
apple.
it in your head,
Oh.
yeah.
and you can't do that.
I can't do that. No, like whenever people say like, "Oh, picture this" or "imagine this," or like in movies when people would have like
Right.
thoughts and they would like cut to the thought
The
or
bubbles.
like the
Yeah,
image
the
of it.
bubbles.
Yeah, like the bubbles. I thought that was just like movie dramatics. I thought it was all like figure of speech and movie dramatics. I didn't realize that it was like real life.
Now, how did you find this out, Austin?
Because this dude on TikTok was talking about how I guess they found out that there's like 50% of the population um, doesn't have inner dialogue. Like they can't hear their own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, I could do you one.
thoughts.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
people that can't hear their own thoughts. But he was like, I could do you one better. I can't see pictures in my mind. And I was
I don't-
like, that's pretty normal. And then apparently I was wrong. That's not pretty normal.
How do you like remember what people look like?
Right.
I just
Like, do
I
you just
have
not
the-
remember what people look like?
No, I do. I just can't picture it. So like right now, I could tell you what my daughter looks like. I could tell you what my wife looks like, what my parents look like, what my sister looks like, because I know what they
Like
look
you can
like. Like I remember.
describe them, but you can't
I
just
could-
like start describing
Yeah.
it to yourself, and then that image appears in your brain.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I have like the
That's
memory
weird.
of like key features,
Right.
like my sister,
Right.
right? Like there's key features of her that I can remember, but I can't sit there and picture her in my mind. I can't sit
That's
there
like-
and, right.
Psychopathic, my friend.
Dude, like
That's
an
crazy.
apple,
No.
right? Like I can't sit there and see an apple, but I could tell you an apple is red. I could tell you it's round. I could tell you it has a little stem that comes out of it. I could describe that. The
little
the
shine
crunch
on it.
and the
Yeah.
crispiness. Like I could
Could you
describe it
draw it?
because I factually know that this is what an apple looks like. I
draw
have
one
the
from
memory
memory?
of what it looks like, but I can't physically see it.
So I don't know
could you
what's
draw it?
worse. I'm sorry, Rob. Say that again.
Like, can you like draw it?
I could
So you
draw.
can't
I could
draw nothing
draw
from
it.
memory?
Yes, because I know what it looks like, but I
Yeah.
can't actually see it.
Picture it.
Yeah, I
Mm.
can't picture it.
I don't know which one is worse. Is the no pictures or the no self dialogue? like I guess you would keep all the doubts and all that stuff out of your head if you had no self dialogue. But still, that'd be weird. Just like
No
walking
anxiety.
around and you just yeah you just wouldn't be thinking of anything. Or I mean, you
Yeah,
would be. You just wouldn't hear anything. It's like da 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 da.
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know, man.
How
Like,
can you think of something without actually? I don't know.
so like when I think, it's just like basically like I'm reading in my head, like, or like I'm talking to myself in my head, kind of. I don't like to say talking to myself, but it's like I'm thinking in my head, like,
So, yeah,
oh,
you're talking to yourself, all right.
yeah,
Right.
like, oh, I want a smoothie. What kind of smoothie do I want? Well, blueberry sounds pretty good, stuff like that. But I can't actually see like the blueberries. It's all normal. But what tripped me up was like dreams. So like my dreams, I have like sometimes I remember them. A lot of times I don't. But my dreams are like audiobooks. And
Oh
and I
my
didn't real
god,
and I didn't realize that like dreams were like actual, like you could see like a movie.
dude, are you serious
I
right now?
swear, dude. Like I didn't realize like people could like watch movies in their sleep. Like it's like my dreams are just like
Just
audiobook in the dark.
letters, just letters.
I don't see the letters. It's just like an audiobook.
Just a
Like
That's a
I
sound.
bummer because like it's super convenient to help me fall asleep when I like start thinking of things, like imagining things, and that
Mm.
helps me fall asleep. Like when we were building this shop out, like before we kind of figured out what was going in here, like I would go to bed like trying to imagine myself walking through the front door and like this is gonna be on this wall, this is gonna be on that wall, this is gonna be on that wall,
Hmm.
and like I'm out in like a minute doing that.
yeah. See, my wife said the same thing. Like I said, her daughter's birthday's coming up, right? And she was like, "Yeah, I could absolutely picture what our daughter's birthday party's gonna look like." And I was like, "How? It hasn't happened yet." Like I just started to grasp the fact that you could like see things that you've seen,
Your whole
but
life has changed,
yeah,
man.
Austin is the prophet.
but oh,
There's that toddler. There's that toddler.
hang on one second, guys.
Alright. Yeah, when they want something, it's happening. So, for the did you start getting trained for the stop the bleed yet, or you haven't got certified yet?
Not yet, no.
Mm.
We're very much in the beginning stages of the
Okay.
medical side. There's a couple reasons for that. Number one, I I wanted to make sure that if we're going to do medical training, that we do it really the right way and
Mm-hmm.
not just jump into it. And I want to make sure, like, I'm kind of discovering this as we kind of go through the relaunch of this company. Is that I want to focus heavily on um, customer facing retail operation, as well as firearms education.
Hmm.
Um, so for me, I'm not focusing as heavily on the medical training only because I want to make sure that we get the right person to do that who's really passionate about that. But I want
Mm.
them to fall under the Goliath Defense umbrella, and I don't want to bring in someone from the outside. So that's a slower process.
Hmm.
Um,
It's
Whereas the
like,
firearms training stuff, like that's all me, and that's what I plan on keeping myself. Yeah, so not quite yet. I think it would be fun and really, honestly, really awesome to be able to do stop the bleed 1, 2, and 3. And my concept is that we'll have basic pistol, intermediate pistol, and advanced pistol, and then we'll have stop the bleed 1, 2, and 3. And the idea is that it would probably be optional, but the idea is that Stop the Bleed 3 and Advanced Pistol would actually be the same class, and you would learn how to do advanced pistol tactics, like because truly they are kind of one and the same. Where um, you need to learn how to get behind cover and concealment while applying a tourniquet to somebody and dragging a body while also providing cover. Um, that kind of thing, and they really just kind of work well with each other. So I think it would be pretty epic to be able to have a curriculum where um, they kind of walk by each other's side, and to be able to come out with a certification that says that, like, you know how to shoot really really well, but you also know how to um, render aid really really well, and have them work together. I think is really cool, and not a lot of not a lot of places, if any places in this area, are doing anything like that. Um, and so there's definitely a market for it.
Mm-hmm.
The only issue is that when you get into the more advanced stuff, you need to find land to be able to perform those activities on. So
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely also a roadblock for us. And a huge reason why we haven't gone heavily into Stop the Bleed also is because of that. Because Stop the Bleed one, you can kind of just do in a classroom setting, because it's packing wounds, it's learning how to apply a tourniquet, um, that kind of stuff. Very very simple stuff. But like once you get into Stop the Bleed 2 and 3, you kind of need to be able to be out in the field, so to speak, to
Mm-hmm.
be able to do that kind of stuff. So
Don't worry, everything will work out for you, man.
yeah, and I'm not really trying to rush into things.
Mm-hmm.
I know that this is what we're supposed to do, and so I want to do it the
Mm-hmm.
right way. Um, and I had a goal this year to get my firearms instructor's license and to open a brick and mortar, and I've achieved both
Mm-hmm.
of those. And so next year, the goal is to have a successful firearms sales side, and then also have a successful medical training side. So we're not rushing into anything, and we're making sure that not only because I still work a day job, uh, 5 days a week, and so unless I can get the right people on board to walk alongside me, it's not worth sacrificing my health and my time with my family to be able to pursue something that I know that will happen. It just needs to happen the right timing.
Mm-hmm. Timing is everything, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been very interested in the Stop the Bleed stuff because we had on um, Tyler. Yeah, we had on Tyler,
Mhm.
and he was talking about he had a Stop the Bleed class in his facility, and I'm trying to find someone that's certified to come on the podcast. So when you get
Yeah.
certified, if you want to come on and have a Stop the Bleed, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, man. My From a defensive perspective, my passion for that really stems from the idea that, like, we can train people how to shoot guns and how to, like, defend themselves well, but let's run a scenario where you're at Walmart, and there's a somebody who decides to try to rob you and your family at gunpoint, and you end up taking out the guy, but guess what? He shot your wife in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how to render aid to her? Like, do you know how to properly apply a tourniquet? Because, like, for me, like, yeah, the threat's neutralized, but my wife's bleeding out on the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
How do I
Mm.
resolve that?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that a lot of people really think about that. Like, I teach this in my concealed carry classes, where we have a section in our concealed carry class where we talk about other considerations when carrying a firearm. And one of the considerations is, I believe, not only is it in some states actually a law, but from a ethical moral standpoint, I believe that if you are going to neutralize a threat, if they are no longer a threat, you should try everything in your power to save their life.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be shooting somebody without a way to save their life and to render aid. Now, that being said, if the only way to neutralize the threat is to take their life, obviously that's a necessary thing that needs to happen. But
Mm-hmm.
if you 2 to the chest, 1 in the pelvic girdle, and they don't die, and they're out, like they're no longer a threat to you and your family. Everybody's safe. There's no other threats around you that are, there's all those elements. But at the end of the day, if they are bleeding out on the sidewalk and everything, you're like, everybody's safe, I feel like it's a responsibility to then at least try to render aid to that person. Yeah, I don't know. It's something that people don't think about, and every single class, everybody's like, "Oh man, I didn't even see that side of things," and so that's why we do want to become more of a well-rounded company that teaches medical training as well as firearms training, because defense is not just neutralizing threat; it's also rendering aid. Um, that's kind of all encompassing. So that's important to me. And even in some states, it is actually required by law that if you neutralize a threat, you have to try to render aid to that person.
Yep, that's Maryland.
Yeah, I think that was a really good point, and also sorry for the interruption. My daughter just woke up, and she really wanted to see me. But I think it's one of the things that people are afraid of is you hear all these stories about, you shoot an intruder in your house, right? They were a threat. It's a clean shoot. You shoot them, and then they come back and sue you. And that's a big fear for a lot of people, because it's like, I didn't do anything wrong. You came into my house, and I think that rendering aid and calling for a paramedic, doing what you can, but there does need to be some changes to where if someone comes in your house, you stop them, but they don't die. You shouldn't be afraid of losing everything in a lawsuit.
Yeah, that definitely needs to be. I think legislation needs to be changed in a lot of ways in that area, because at the end of the day, there is the argument where, like, a dead man can tell no tales, right? So if you have someone coming back and they decide to sue you because shot them in the leg and they no longer have an operating leg, I also think that's where, like, concealed carry insurance comes into play. A lot of people, if you're listening and you carry a gun and you do not have concealed carry insurance, you are an idiot. Find concealed carry insurance, because I shouldn't. I take that back. Some people are idiots. Some people are just completely misled and are unaware. It's not very expensive, and there are so many instances of people defending their lives completely reasonably, and they still can go to jail because of certain nuances of the situation. And so concealed carry insurance it's not only important for, like, protecting you, but also protecting your family. If you're the head of the household and you end up going to prison because you protected them and saved their life, you now have a wife and a kid who doesn't have their dad to support them. And I would recommend right to bear insurance. That's what we use. That's what we recommend. A lot of people will talk about USCCA. USCCA is okay, but they're kind of like the Nike of concealed carry insurance, and just because that they have that Nike swoosh doesn't make them the best. So
quick thing. I tried to get an affiliate program with Right to Bear. They were sending me offers, but I lost my freaking password because I'm an idiot to my affiliate program that I had. And I keep getting emails like, hey, do you want to be an affiliate? Do you want to be an affiliate still? And I'm like, yes, I do, but it's like, I don't know. I can't get into my account whatsoever. So in Maryland, there was somebody broke into someone's house. The person got killed. And then the baby mama of the guy sued the homeowner for the rest of the child support that guy was supposed to be paying. So the kid was like, yeah, exactly. Well, she had to get it somehow, right? So the kid was like 3 years old. So she sued for 15 years of the child support that the guy was going to pay, and she won, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
No.
Yep. It's crazy.
So in Oregon, they use this term called strict liability, which basically states that even if your actions are justified and reasonable, if you break the law, then you can still be prosecuted for it. Which in some instances I agree with, but in some instances I don't. So there was a situation in Lake Oswego, Oregon, which is just about an hour north of us, where there was a family who went on vacation. Like the parents went on vacation, they had a 15-year-old kid. Um, Stay at home to house it. They trusted him. They believed that he was mature enough to watch the home. He was mature enough to handle firearms in case something were to happen. And so they gave him access to those firearms in case there was a home intruder. Lo and behold, there were two home invaders that came into the home while the parents were on vacation. He knew where the guns were, and in self-defense, he killed both of them because they were threatening his life. And even though his actions were justified and reasonable, the parents are now in prison because they gave access of a firearm to a minor,
Oh wow.
and that's strict liability. So basically, that's why concealed carry insurance is so important. And concealed carry insurance doesn't just um, it in some depending on your policy, it doesn't just cover walking through Walmart and then you have to defend yourself. Sometimes it can cover home invasion situations as well. Um, and what I like about Right to Bear is they actually have at least in Oregon, there's a our local section of Right to Bear. He's like 45 minutes away from us. So um, our local attorney is, and yeah, so it's something that people don't think about, but it's not something that you want to be thinking about after the fact. I will say that. Just
Yeah.
pull the trigger, pull the trigger on it, pay the money for the policy, get insured, and you will, you'll definitely regret it if God forbid the day comes that you have to use your gun and you don't have insurance.
And do your research also. I kind of so when I got my concealed carry permit, I didn't realize that in Maryland, being a veteran, I didn't have to go through the class, but I signed up for the first day of the class, and that's when I found out. Well, since I was already there, I decided to stay instead of getting the refund they offered. And there was a guy that came in for USCCA, a representative, and he was pushing this USCCA stuff so hard, and I made it sound really good, and I signed up for it. Later on, did research on the company and found out that in situations like if you were carrying in a Walmart or a Target that you can't carry firearms in, or like any situations where they can deem you broke the law, not only will they not cover you, any money they put into covering you until they found that out, like your bail money, anything like that, you have to pay back. And there was actually a case to where a woman had shot her ex-husband because he was banging on her car, threatening her life, and she shot him in self-defense. But because she looked up what does USCCA cover, they deemed not anyone, they deemed that she had planned that murder and had outed her, saying, well, we believe this is first degree murder, so we're not going to cover her.
Well, it is because she was thinking about shooting her husband.
No, she wasn't thinking about shooting her husband. She just wanted to know what USCCA covered in a case of a shooting.
The day before?
No, it wasn't the day before. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it was the day before. I think it was like a week or so before.
That sounds
I could be wrong.
premeditated, bro.
I don't
Straight
know.
up.
Didn't attorneys on retainer picked up that case?
Yeah, attorneys on retainer picked up that case, but I mean, I have USCCA. I think she had recently gotten it too, and I have looked up what does USCCA cover. So does that? I don't plan on murdering anybody. I don't plan on shooting anybody. So does that mean now I have committed premeditated murder if, God forbid, I shoot someone? That's bullshit. It wasn't.
That's why I don't like guns, man.
Like it's finding out what they cover.
It's
but
the
yeah,
guns.
attorneys on retainer did cover that, but I think there's been a couple instances of that case. So do your research on the company that you're looking to get. Whether it's attorneys on retainer, Right to Bear, USCCA, and find out if they fit you.
at the end of the day, just there's better companies, there's not better companies, whatever. Just make sure you get concealed carry insurance. Being covered by somebody is better than covered by nobody. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
In that case, you said it sounded like they wanted the two men to kill the kid, right? Like, you know, that case you were talking about
mhm.
with the kid defending himself when the people
Yeah,
broke
yeah.
in. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's Oregon, man. Um, and I'm sure there's other states that have strict liability laws similar. Um, but it's kind of one of those things where like, because we talk about in use of force, if if you go to court for something related to like self defense or shooting someone in self defense, whatever, they're going to talk about this thing called reasonable belief, and it uses this matrix. They use three columns. Everybody knows it: means, opportunity, intent. Did they have the means to act? Did they have the opportunity to act? And did they have the intent to act? And those home invaders had those three things,
Mm-hmm.
and so that kid had reasonable belief that he was going to lose his life. And even though that is the matrix that the court system uses to kind of decide whether or not it was a justifiable act, strict liability says that even though it's justified in a moral sense, it's not legal in a legal sense. So it's crazy, man. And you just gotta. Uh,
How
that one's a
much
hard one.
time did the parents get?
I believe they got 36 months, from my understanding.
Jeez.
And then yeah, so I mean they're looking at uh, literally their teenage boy that defended his life is going to become an adult before they're out of prison.
And that's
That's
going to
crazy.
follow them for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
but I
being
mean,
good
as a
parents.
parent,
No, no, hold up. For being good parents, though, they did
yeah,
everything right. They raised a good young man. He had self confidence in himself. He knew how to operate a firearm safely. They trusted him with it, and they were great parents. You know what I
yeah,
mean? The kid's still here because of what the parents did and what they
yeah.
taught this young man. And then
Yep.
now, you know what I mean? They're in prison because they should have been crappy parents then, I
Yeah.
guess.
As a parent myself, if I was in their shoes, I'd still do the same thing, even if I knew that would be the outcome. I'd
Yeah.
still do the same thing because at the end of the day,
Yep, they're
their
still
child's
here.
alive. Their
Yeah.
Yep.
child's alive, and so
Definitely.
Dude,
36 months, my child's still alive. I'll take that any day.
yeah. Dude, there was a video that was going viral. This guy was up front with his son. These two dudes got out of the car and they were trying to kill him, right? This dude ran inside of his house and left his son outside. This 5-year-old boy started running away. So it was two men. One went after him and was shooting at him, and then the other guy is going after his son now with a firearm. And he left his son outside.
That's insane.
Nope, couldn't be me.
He left him outside, man. This the five
That
year
is
old
not a
boy is
man.
running. Yeah, this 5-year old boy is running away from a grown man. I mean, the video was very short. It was just them hopping out the car and him started running in, and then the two guys like split. One went after the kid, and the other guy was shooting at the other guy. But I don't know I don't know if the guy ran in to get a gun, but still, you don't leave your son outside, especially when there's
Dude, and
two
that's
two
People
armed
kill
men
kids
that trying to
nowadays,
kill you.
man.
Yeah, they don't care.
People kill kids. It's crazy.
that's why you need to carry on your person
Yeah.
every waking minute of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many people, I have coworkers that I have coworkers that have taken my concealed carry classes, and they have their permits and they're set up in like good to carry, and like our boss doesn't care if we carry at work and all that stuff. And after they got their permits in the mail, and like, hey, so you joining the club? Or you carrying? Like, I'll like go up to their appendix and like tap their appendix and be like, "Where's your
Okay, and a
gun,
daddy.
bro?" Yeah, yeah, and they're like, well, I I go from home to work and I go back home, and like the odds of something happening is so low, and I'm like, dude,
Not
That there's still a
especially
chance.
nowadays.
there's still if even if it's a 1% chance that someone's gonna try to like stop your car and arm robbery you,
Hmm.
why take that 1%? You have uh you have the legal bounds to do so, to protect yourself. You have a firearm that you purchased to protect yourself. Why are we playing this game that like, oh, unless I go to like inner city Portland, I'm not going to carry my gun on me? Like, it just doesn't. It's so mind boggling to me, and it's really frustrating because part of what Goliath Defense is trying to do is uh, we're trying to really change our local community. I don't get me wrong. I love our online people. I love our followers. I love all the business that we've been getting online is great, but I can't really affect change across the country. I can affect change in my community. And one thing that we want to do and we're passionate about is making sure that we turn Albany and the surrounding area into a community of like minded individuals
Hmm.
who are ready to take up that call and ready to, defend the weak and feeble in our community who are less capable and unwilling. And I'm like, bro, by you having your permit and not being willing to carry your gun, I am now having to train other people to protect you and your life and your family's life. And it's like you're kind of totally going against the whole, like, why did you even take my class? Like, it doesn't make sense. I want people, I want to know that my wife's a boss and she carries a gun on her. Um, I want to know that if she wasn't ready to carry a firearm yet, that she can walk into Safeway with my two boys, and I know that there's 10 guys around her that will protect
Hmm.
her if that, God forbid, has to happen. And unfortunately, there's so many people that are like, oh, it's too uncomfortable, or it's, we live in a safe area and blah blah blah. I'm like, bro,
Right.
you fine, take that risk, but I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
not willing to take that risk, especially as American citizens. We are the
Hmm.
only people. I asked this in my concealed carry classes, like, what's a good reason to own a firearm? And everybody's like, oh, recreation or self defense or hunting or collecting, whatever. And those are all okay answers. I love it when people say self defense among all those things, but ultimately, first and foremost, is we live in the only country in the world, not just a country, the only country in the world where it's enshrined in our Constitution, in our
Hmm.
founding documents, that we are legally allowed to own and carry firearms as individuals.
Hmm.
Why are we not exercising that right?
Hmm.
It's frustrating.
That's the
Yeah.
only one
Um,
that says it shall not be infringed.
Hmm.
yeah, and so I tell my students all the time, like, you're not just taking this class to get a permit. You're actually you're actually adding to the betterment of our community because you're acting on that vision and that promise that our founding fathers gave us.
Hmm.
Um, it's just so important, and it frustrates me when people um, come up with horribly ridiculous excuses of why they don't carry their weapon on them.
People die for the right for us to do that. You know.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
just talking to my boss the other day. I was like, "So when are they gonna start letting us carry in these trucks, man?" He said he doesn't think it's ever gonna happen. You know, and it's like, so if something happens to me while I'm at work,
Hmm.
it who's gonna be held liable for that? Because I have the ability and the means to protect myself, but I can't carry it on. You know what I mean? Because it's against company policy.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I had a situation where I went to a customer site, and in the parking lot was this dude just all cracked out. You know, he was on something else, and he saw me, and for some reason he just had it out for me. Right? He was, you know, cussing at me. Went up in front of my work van and just started like shadow boxing. Like I'm not joking, dude. Like it was crazy. And I'm just
Wa-
looking at him like,
Uh,
what are you doing? You know?
Was he
And
making the?
I don't know. My windows were up and my door was closed, but
like that one, that Star Wars kid, the you know what I'm talking about, like that went
Yeah,
viral
yeah.
like 15 years ago.
but no, I sat there and I think I got it. If I remember the story correctly, I got out of my van and the dude was like, "I'm gonna kill you," and I just hopped right back in my van and I was like, I
Whoa.
texted. I texted the my boss. I was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing this job today. I'll come back when this
You
like
make a
crazy ass dude is not here."
you bring up a really good point in that story where I think there's an issue with people who. So I had a class like 2 weeks ago where I asked that question: why do we carry firearms? What's a good reason? And two students that were sitting behind this person, I didn't know, but they were pretty obviously liberals. I'm pretty sure they were a gay couple. I don't know, but it was you can just tell. And honestly, dude, I thought that was awesome. Like the fact that like these people that probably don't line up politically with my own political values, they are also wanting to come and exercise their right as American citizens. And I asked that question, and because that's the whole point, right? Like we live in this free country where everybody has rights. Every single person has the same rights. Um, and I asked that question, and this person that's in front of them said like, "Oh, so we can go duck hunt the liberals." And I was like, "All right, there's the door. You're not taking this class. I'm not certifying you." Uh,
Nice.
because although I internally might have thought it was kind of funny, realistically, from a not just from a professional standpoint, but from a standpoint in saying that like we all, whatever political side you line up on, whatever views, whatever values, we all need to be able to um, recognize that everybody in this country deserves the same rights that are enshrined in our Constitution.
No.
Exactly.
And so when it comes to that situation, I'm trying to remember where I was going with that, but yeah, I totally lost my train of thought.
Okay.
Anyway, when people are, I don't like picking and choosing the Constitution. Like the
Exactly.
Constitution is for all people,
Mm-hmm.
all races, all colors, all walks of life. And it's very disappointing and frustrating when um, we make specific designations like the 2A is for all men and women. It's not just for
Mm-hmm.
the people that are hardcore constitutionalists or whatever. So I want to encourage everybody to like be better in that way, because I think there's this misconception. Like statistically speaking, like conservatives are probably more likely to own firearms and like use them in self-defense, but that shouldn't matter. Like
Mm-hmm.
if we had this influx of the other side of the aisle, come in and say they want to carry their guns, then like great, that's amazing.
No.
So it's something that I don't really tolerate.
Like
Yeah.
like people was talking about banning trans people from having, firearms.
No,
I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? They
because
have the
that's a
same rights
slippery
as
slope.
anyone else. Yeah.
That's a slippery
So,
slope. I
Yeah.
mean, we
It is
so
a
were,
the
slippery slope.
Yeah.
yeah, we
so
at one point,
the only way they'd be able to do that is if they do deem it a mental illness.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
If medically they can say that being trans is a mental illness,
Mm-hmm.
then they can somehow
Yeah.
tie that in for you to be able to get a firearm or not.
but then what if people are like, well, being a Christian is a mental illness? You're telling me you
Well, yeah,
talk
yeah,
to
yeah,
a deity?
yes,
Yeah.
You know, it's
yeah.
a
No,
slippery
I
slope.
know.
You're
Yeah, I
telling
know.
me you talk to a deity, and you know, like all this stuff. Like they could flip it. If they do it for one group, they could
Mm-hmm.
do it for another.
But still, not
We
not not
actually at
really.
one point, I found a group, and they're a national group, and they have a chapter in Maryland, and they are called the Socialist Rifle Association, the SRA. And while yeah, we can make fun for wanting to be socialist and wanting this, and it's a bunch of people that are part of the LGBT community. Um, the fact that, and I said this in the email, I don't care if we might not agree politically on everything, but I respect the fact that you guys are out here, training with firearms, trying to prepare yourself for anything that might come your way. And I think that the 2A community should be inclusive to every group,
Yes,
because
sir.
that's the only way we're gonna build, you know.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you have a good heart
Yes.
and you want it for all the right reasons,
Yeah.
that's my only thing.
Yeah.
I mean by law, if you think about it, by law, that's the only way you can get a firearm is if
Mm-hmm.
you're
Yeah.
a law-abiding citizen. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
But I mean, like, yeah,
But
you
so
saw the video.
so
Like, they seem like they were decent people. I mean, definitely, as far as like their personalities go, like politically, I completely disagree with a lot of the stuff they say. But
they
yeah,
still have that right.
they still have
Mm-hmm.
that right to believe what they want to believe.
So one of the things that I noticed after the Charlie Kirk assassination was a bunch of conservatives, right, all over TikTok talking about how Trump needs to get the National Guard and just take out all of these people. And it's
Hmm.
like, okay, you like as a conservative, you want as little of government as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Leave me alone. You foreign affairs, cool. If I'm not breaking the law, leave me alone. And just let me live my life, right? As a conservative, those people are now calling for Trump to militarize our own military against the United States citizens. And it doesn't make any sense to me
Hmm.
because it's like, okay, so if you start that trend that our government can use the National Guard, as they see pleased to go against us, that's with a Republican in there. What happens if some whack job liberal gets in there and now he wants to militarize it for another reason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
Well,
thing that
look
really,
at what Pam Bondi said when she was talking about hate speech and how like hate speech is not protected on the First Amendment. And it was like, hold on a second. We've been fighting for the last decade about you know first of all, that's the whole thing. That's the whole reason why Charlie was out there in the first place, was because he wanted to have open dialogue and he wanted to
Mm-hmm.
allow people to have their own opinions. That's the whole
Mm-hmm.
thing. So like, yeah, it's crazy that he got assassinated for simply sitting down at a table and talking with people. That's
Yeah.
crazy. But for the attorney general to come out and say that we are going to prosecute you because you say bad things about Charlie, I don't agree with those
yeah,
sentiments.
Mm-hmm.
However, you cannot throw people in prison for that. That's literally you're creating even more of a surveillance state.
Mm-hmm.
And like you were saying, Dimitri, like as soon as that starts happening, if that's happening on, you know, the right, then imagine what's going to happen in 8 years or even
Mm-hmm.
4 years
Mm-hmm.
when someone who's, even more of an evil is in power, and they just turn around and say, well, Pam Bondi did it when they were in charge, so like
Yeah.
here comes the hammer.
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous, slippery slope to be going down, and I think even it's even more of a reason why people need to start really leaning into the two-way. This is exactly what the Second Amendment was designed to do and designed to protect us from. Because the second that the government starts prosecuting people for their words
Yeah.
is it's exactly what Charlie warned about. Actually, he said that the second that people can't, I can't remember the exact quote, but the second that people can't like have an open dialogue, that's when violence begins, and that's exactly what
Right.
happened to him. And it's a shame, and I don't fear anything, but I'm very cautious about our current government system, and that people are saying let's tone down the temperature. Let's you know can we? I just had in one of the Facebook groups that I'm in, I posted about our storefront, and someone was like, "Can we just be done with the guns? Like this is ridiculous." And I'm like, "No, actually, we need to have more guns in our communities because things are changing, and there's a shift happening, and it's worrisome for sure."
It sounds like it's going towards communism or something. Or social, you know what I'm saying? You can't say
And
certain things. You can't do this.
Yeah,
dude, like straight up, like I never thought Trump 2.0 was gonna be like this.
yeah.
Yeah.
I did not. This, you know what I mean?
Now
It.
the thing is that like another big part of the issue is that because the current administration is kind of playing around with these ideas, the next 3 years for our side it will probably be okay,
Hmm.
but it's just I would hate that we would be the side that starts opens up the floodgates for another
Exactly.
North Korea, because like literally, bro, if we didn't have the Second Amendment, I mean we're screwed. We're literally
Yeah.
screwed.
Hmm.
um yeah, it's
And
funny
most
because
people, but most people don't even think like that, Colin. They
Mhm.
just they don't even think about it. They go to work, they watch their sports, they know everything down to the yards, how big the wiener of their favorite quarterback is, how many chicks he's banged. They know everything about these people, and they know nothing about what's going on
Yep.
around them. Like
And the
one of
issue
the
is that there are too many people that are, quote unquote, uh, for the Second Amendment and that are gun owners and whatever, and they're just like, well, it doesn't affect my day to day life, and like my father in law, if he's watching this, I'm sorry, but I gotta speak truth. Is he man? It was. Have you guys heard about Measure 114 in Oregon?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so Measure 114 was a measure that was voted on by the people in 2022. And it is the most egregious gun legislation that we've ever seen in the history of this country. And it's for the state of Oregon. I can go down a laundry list of everything that it had, but essentially it was literally like directly targeting concealed carry holders. I mean, it's 10 round mag capacity limits, having to have a purchase permit where you have to go through classes to just get a permit to be able to buy a firearm. There's a ton of things. Basically, all the worst gun legislation put into one measure, and it passed by 0.2% of the vote, uh,
Jeez.
which is crazy. And what's even more to my point that I'm bringing up is I've asked people in my classes because 114 went to an appeals court, and just recently in March, the Oregon State Supreme Court deemed it constitutional, and so there's going to be open oral argument in November. And I asked the people in my class, "Hey, are you guys aware of Measure 114? Because this directly affects concealed carry holders." And they're like, "Oh, I've never heard of that before." And I'm like, "Really? Because you voted on it? Like you're not paying attention. You literally voted on this measure." And when I was bringing up this measure to my father-in-law 2 years ago, I was like, "Hey, have you heard about this? This is crazy. Like, this is going to affect so many things." And he's like, "Well, you know, I've got all the guns I need. I don't need any more guns. Whatever. I'm not worried about it." And I'm like, you are exactly the reason why this crap gets passed through, because there's too many people that are like, it doesn't affect me. I'm not worried about it. And it's the boiling frog situation where the frog doesn't know he's dead until it's too late.
Yeah.
And so more people need to wake up and realize that there is something bigger happening, and it's kind of been a we've been a boiling kettle for the last 15, 20 years. I think since 9/11, honestly, it's kind of just been this like very slow
Yep.
Chipping away at the right.
increase. Yeah, it's
Patriot Act.
the
Patriot
Patriot
Act
Act
too.
was huge.
No more privacy. They could just all for national security. And everybody was like, "Yeah, dude, I've talked to people about that, and they're like, yeah, I don't do anything bad." I'm like, "Yeah, but you have no privacy. Like, how is that
Yeah.
not important to you? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and the crazy thing is, people are putting cameras in their house now that are on Wi-Fi, so that means they can just go into your feed and watch
Oh,
what you're doing in
willy-nilly.
your house.
Mhm.
Yeah. And people don't care. Like, that's the crazy part, is people do not care. They're like, "Oh, I don't care if the government is listening on my phone calls. I don't care." It's like, you should, man. You should, because that you have the right to privacy. You know what I mean? You have
Yep.
you have a right to your. I mean, again, to your privacy. It's
And
ridiculous.
the citizens been proven guilty, right?
Well, not if you use a firearm. You're guilty until you prove yourself
Yeah,
innocent.
there's a thing called affirmative defense where you are guilty until proven innocent, and specifically in the state of Oregon in Measure 114, this is the craziest thing, dude, and it's so ridiculous. But I'm not surprised by any means, because our state is an absolute cesspool, and I hope one day Idaho can adopt part of our state, and we can be the greater state of Idaho. But there's that. Do you guys know about that? There's actually like a whole group of people that are calling for this state called the state of Jefferson, and it's Idaho will like take over the like eastern half of Oregon, and then the western half of Oregon, which is where I'm in, would actually become California. Anyway,
You might want to move that way.
yeah, yeah. If that happens, that's definitely gonna be a thing. I totally forgot what I was talking about, but
No, the right to privacy and how people should care. And you were talking about
affirmative defense.
Yep.
So affirmative defense, it's written into Measure 114, where if you have a large capacity magazine, which is anything over 10 rounds, and you cannot prove that you purchased it before December 4th or 6th, 2022, you are found guilty of possessing a large capacity magazine. And I'm like, bro, who has kept the receipts for their AR-15 magazine that they bought 3 years ago?
Yeah.
4 years ago almost. So it's very. So most people are like, "Oh, I lost all my stuff, my guns in a boating accident." You know, the classic saying.
No.
It's just it's crazy that we even have to think about these things and worry about them. But now it's like the fact that like on the federal government level, our attorney general is talking about prosecuting people for hate speech.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Things are starting to get very interesting. So
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's getting
No, so
crazy.
in Maryland, this was like 2 years ago. We did a podcast on it, but they tried to pass this like, so it was like right after the concealed carry. It was like from you needed so in Maryland you
May
what was it
permit
called,
to
Ryan?
shall permit.
There we go. Right. So and then they try to pass all of these laws, like you couldn't carry within 100 feet of a storefront or any store. You couldn't carry at a drinking fountain. A drinking fountain. So if I can't carry 100 feet in front of the door, why is it a law that I can't carry at a drinking fountain? What happened at a drinking fountain? You know what I mean? For this law to
that's
come in
insane.
place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it
they
got
still have
it,
rules like you can't carry at a rest stop
yeah,
in Maryland.
yeah. So that
Wow.
means any gas station, by the way. But
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's I mean,
Maybe Oregon doesn't have the most egregious gun laws. That's insane.
dude, like when you're just saying about the high capacity magazines that it just got passed there. When did it pass here, Rob? Like 2015.
The what
The 10 round limit.
I think with that dumbass assault weapons ban, I can't remember
Yeah,
when it was.
yeah. It was like shortly after we got out of high school, I think.
Yeah,
So
but
it
I
had to
want to
be
say it
before
like
was. I want to say it
before the
was
10 round when
2015.
we could only have 20, and went from 20 to 10.
Yeah, I want to say it was 2015 because I remember when I bought my. I remember when I bought my Glock. I had to have my magazine shipped to my grandfather in Virginia.
Now, is it any magazine that can be modified, or is it any magazine that it
You
comes
can
native?
you can
You,
own them in Maryland. You
yeah,
just can't buy or sell them.
yeah,
Like
yep.
you can go to PA, get them, and have them, and it's okay. You just
Yep.
can't buy and sell them in Maryland, which doesn't
It's
make
so
sense.
stupid.
yeah.
So
So
stupid.
how has that affected FFLs in Maryland? Because one thing that we're concerned about going through the FFL process is if Measure 114 goes through, our magazine capacity ban
Yeah,
is you cannot purchase, sell, or possess.
Hmm.
So
We can
uh,
possess.
just
Yeah.
here they take the large capacity magazines out of the gun,
Yeah.
and
so
they can sell them in
they
other
can still
states.
sell the firearm that can
Yeah,
accept it.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
So
they
Yep.
I
just
don't
can't
know.
have it in the gun when you buy it, and they usually take them off the gun and sell them in other states when they go to gun shows.
Yeah.
Which
I.
really
I.
sucks because every time I've bought a Glock, it's came with 3 magazines and they're freaking 10 round magazines. It makes me so mad every single time I buy one, dude.
Well,
I'm
I
like, I could
know.
have 3 good magazines and I get this crap.
Well, I know for me when I bought mine, they gave me the option to have them sent out of state. So, like I said, I had them sent to my grandfather's house, and I was able to go pick them up for my grandfather and bring them back. So, I bought a 10 round magazine, but my 15 rounds, because mine came with 15 round magazines,
Yeah.
they just got sent out of state.
And you're
I
allowed
don't
to
know.
carry that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
have
You
a,
just can't
I
buy
have
or
a,
sell.
I think I have a
That's nice.
25 and a 30
Dude,
round, and they
That's
don't
we
say
so
had
anything.
we had Walker Tactical on here, right? He lives in Jersey. He said they can't possess anything over 10 rounds. If you get caught, you go to a state penitentiary with anything over 10 rounds. And then also, here's the other stupid thing in
They
Jersey
can't have
is
hollow points.
yeah, you can't have hollow points. Which is like, why wouldn't you want hollow points in the concealed carries so they don't just keep going and shoot
They wanted to
innocent
go
people?
through
Yeah. So, but what are they? The Hornadies? Is that what they're
them.
called,
Yeah,
Rob?
those are
Yeah,
Hmm.
cool. Yeah, the Hornadies.
yeah. But you can have Hornadies because that little red
Hmm.
stopper at the tip of the slug
Hmm.
makes it a non-hollow point by their laws. Like, who comes up with this?
I think Philly has stuff like that too. You can't have hollow points, but
Yeah.
the Hornady rounds is cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, like, Colin, like you were just saying, like, this is egregious. We've been living in this, man.
So
It can get worse.
yeah, here's the crazy thing, and there's a lot more to it. So they actually 114 has actually kind of expanded into a Senate Bill 3075, and that it's kind of like its final evolution. Um, and one of the crazy parts is that we were talking about affirmative defense before, where like basically if you can do a certain thing and that's considered affirmative defense against the violation. Um, in the Senate bill, it states that it is considered affirmative defense, meaning that you're good to go if you use the magazine for recreational purposes, for competitive purposes, so like shooting USPSA. If you use it in a licensed like handgun safety class, like a concealed carry class or a basic pistol class. And then if you use it for hunting, which I don't know if I said that, but the only instance that you are not allowed to use a large capacity magazine is for concealed carry. So they are specifically attacking law-abiding concealed carry holders with this law, and it's like it's mind-boggling to me that these kind of laws would be put in place. It's just so crazy, dude.
Yeah, I know every time I go out and I break the law, I think about, should I be carrying a high capacity magazine? It's stupid. They really think that criminals are going to sit there and think, well, I guess I can't use the high capacity because it's illegal. It's absolutely stupid.
But I can have 50 10-round mags on my belt, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. I mean,
Get
in
real good at
Maryland,
reloads,
if you don't have a concealed carry, you have to have your ammo in the glove box.
You have to have everything
from the
separate.
firearm.
Yeah.
You have to have everything separate, basically.
It has to be a 3-point action. Your magazines can't be loaded. Your ammo has to be away from your magazines, and then your firearm has to be in the trunk. In the trunk. So that means you have to do 3 things, which is virtually impossible because you're not getting in your trunk from the front of your car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're in your trunk for some reason, you're not getting to the front of the car. So you would have to get your magazine, get your ammo, load your magazine, then get out of the car, pop your trunk, load your magazine in your pistol, and then go after the person. So by then, you're dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By then, you're dead.
Yeah.
And that's how, at the rest stops, that's how you have to carry it, even if you have a concealed carry permit.
Really?
Yeah. So if you go, you can have a firearm at a rest stop, but it has to be 3 points of separation.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
That's
go
a
to rest
situation
stops,
where I'm like, I'd rather save my life and go to jail.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna save my wife's life and go to jail.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
So, but
Like
it's-
that's my main thing is what the majority of the time that I do carry is when I'm with my family.
Yeah. Well, the reason why Maryland has that is because a while ago we had a shooter that basically stopped at a rest stop and was just plinking at cars. And
So it's always one idiot.
yeah, and
So
I'm like,
because one mentally unstable retard decides to take innocent lives, let's go ahead and ruin the lives of everybody else.
yeah, because
That's-
that guy
that's-
definitely would have separated all his, 3 points.
That's the
separation.
issue. That's the issue that's like core to all of the crap that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Is you have this very loud minority group of people, and I'm not talking about trans people or leftists or whatever. It's I'm talking about like like people who take extreme actions, like Tyler Robinson who assassinated Charlie. There are so many people calling for the complete removal of firearms because of that one kid, and I'm like, that was. First of all, there are more defensive uses of firearms by almost twice the amount than there are of any gun deaths in the United States. Like I think it's there's 80,000 or 800,000 defensive use of firearms, and there's like 52,000. Like this is the 2024 stat, like 52,000 gun deaths or 520,000 gun deaths or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's too many deaths. Screw the people that saved their lives. That's too many deaths.
But how many deaths would have happened if we didn't have the
Right?
gun owners? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I
And
think
that
it's
would be
crazy.
even higher.
I
But
think
people
it's
don't
crazy
think like that.
that Charlie Kirk died defending the Second Amendment.
dude, you know what's insane is that this whole crap with Jimmy Kimmel getting canceled.
Yeah.
Like, so many people are like, defend free speech and blah. And I'm all about free speech. And like, again, hate speech should not be a crime, and it's not even a real thing, really.
Yeah.
There's hateful speech, but hate speech is not a designated thing.
Yeah. But
if
if you say something that people will see backlash from, they have the right to
They have the
separate
right to
themselves
say
from
it.
you, which is what happened
But
with Jimmy Kimball. Because
Yeah.
basically, they told him either apologize or you're fired,
yeah.
and he
I
refused to
mean, so they
apologize.
can do that. They can do that. If you're not
Hmm.
abiding by your company's policy,
Yeah.
Yeah,
they just can't put you in jail. That's what people
Hmm.
don't
yeah,
understand.
yeah,
It's
you
like
still
they
have free
just can't put you
speech.
in jail. You can lose your job, you can lose your career, and all that.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
completely lawful. Because
yeah,
people are like, I'm gonna sue, and it's like you
Yeah,
can't.
I saw all the
Right.
videos to where it's like, you guys talk about free speech and blah blah blah, and it's like, but you're
Yeah,
not in jail for saying that.
Right.
yeah.
You know. But the one thing I was very disappointed with that, as far as conservatives go, um, was the attacks that they did on people. Like there was, I don't know if you guys saw the thoughts and prayers video. There
Mm-mm.
was one girl that was like, "What's
Hmm.
up, bitches? Let's have some thoughts and prayers for Charlie Kirk." And then she was like, "Thoughts and prayers," like she was basically mocking,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Hmm.
and found out that she lives in California, right? Found out that her husband owns an electrical business. He's an electrician, and people just started going after her, right? Which, whatever, cool. I mean, that's their prerogative. But there's another company that has a very similar name to his company, right? I think it was like Evolution Electrical. Well, there's a company called Evolution Electric and Solar,
Mm-hmm.
and these people who were completely in support of Charlie Kirk, never said anything bad about him, were just getting blasted because they had a similar name to this guy. And all it took was 2 minutes of research to find out that they were attacking the wrong people. There was another girl, right? Back in July, she posted a video about how she got fired. Didn't say anything in the video why she got fired, just said, I got fired. And then
Mm-hmm.
people were making these montages of people getting, like, reacting to them getting fired
Mm-hmm.
for speaking out about the Charlie Kirk thing or saying like bad stuff about Charlie Kirk, and she was getting put in like all these videos, but her fucking video was from July, and it took 2 seconds to look when the video was posted to see that she wasn't even she didn't get fired for talking trash about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Like we did no research, or a lot of people did no research, and they were just so gung ho on just making fun of people that were losing their jobs and trying to bash people, and it's like that's not what Kirk stood for.
Hmm.
yeah.
It was the complete opposite.
Yeah,
And probably if he was alive, he wouldn't support gun control. You know what I mean?
He didn't when he was. That
yeah,
was
Yeah.
that was one like when he got assassinated. He was actually answering a gun related question.
have you guys
That's the
seen the
irony
video?
about it.
Have
Yeah.
you guys seen the
Hmm.
video of the guy that was asking that question?
Mm-hmm.
That dude is not okay right now.
No.
Yeah.
Bro, would you be? I mean, like,
Right.
dude, when I saw the like the faraway video first. That was like the first thing across my feed, and
Mm-hmm.
then like two videos later, I saw like the really up close version of it. And I'm,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
here's if we want to go back into like
No,
a
I'm talking
faith
about
based
the guy.
conversation.
The guy that was asking the question made a video
Yeah, no,
because
I saw that video. I kind of sidetracked.
yeah. Oh, my bad. Yeah, I thought you misunderstood what I was saying. But you go
No, no,
ahead.
no.
Yeah.
I was just saying, it's that video was the one where you can like see all the blood coming
Mhm.
out of his neck.
Hmm.
Um, I this is why in some ways I hate the internet because I
Yeah.
don't believe that like our souls were meant to see that
Yeah,
because
which
it's
is
They
another
insane.
weren't,
human
dude.
life. Like that's yeah, it was. I felt sick to my stomach, and it is kind of crazy how like I never knew the guy, I never met the guy,
Mm-hmm.
but I mourned him like a brother. Like
Yeah.
it's the weirdest thing, and I think it's because he stood up, for truth and and the beautiful and the good and the virtuous and whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, what a tragic way to go.
Dude, what
Um,
broke my heart was when I heard that not only were his wife and kids in the crowd, right, and like watching it, but when the gunshot went off,
His
her
daughter
his
ran to him.
and then when
Yep.
she couldn't get to him, people held her back. She's like cried, "Why can't I get to daddy?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, like that broke my heart. That ripped me to pieces, man.
I don't know if that was true or not because I've heard different sides. I've heard that they weren't in the crowd, and I've heard that they were in the crowd.
I heard that
don't
they got
know.
flown in. I heard,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Well, the
It's
point
just
is that video is going to be on the internet forever.
Yeah,
yeah.
his
And
kids will
And the
be able to
family has
watch.
to see it.
yeah, I
His
know
kids will be able
that's
to
the
watch
messed up
that.
part.
You know.
No, but
Yeah.
like Colin, like what you said is like when I watched the video, it was the exact same format as you, the far away one first, and then the second thing that came up was the up close and personal, and it's like, you know, they try to desensitize us. You know what I mean with like Walking Dead and like just movies in general. You know what I
But
mean
like the
of
real
people
thing.
getting, yeah, people getting killed, right? But when you actually see a human actually get murdered or assassinated, it's completely different. You know
yeah,
what I mean? It's because you know it's real.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, when I first saw it, I thought it was like the deep fake AI shit. Like some liberal sat there and just made some like deep fake video about it. Because when you guys were blowing up the group chat, I was trying to work on something, and all I
Not
heard was
paying
my
attention to it as usual.
well, my hands were busy, and I like my hands were covered in grease, and all I heard was my
I'm
phone
just
just like
kidding.
Always got an
buzz,
excuse.
buzz, 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 like just kept going off, ding, 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 and
I should
finally
have muted this.
yeah, that's actually what I said. And then finally, I sat there and I looked at something, and it was something you said about how he's gone. You said something like he's gone,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
And
because he went limp.
yeah, but I didn't know what you were talking about, so I scrolled
Mm.
up and I saw that there were some videos, and I clicked on the first one, and it was the far away one, and then I was like, that's crazy, like that's fake. And then I saw the up close one, and then I was like, that really has to be fake. I really hope that is fake. And then
Yeah.
I immediately went to Google it, and yeah,
It makes
it
you,
was
That was real,
heartbreaking,
man.
it makes you
Yeah.
The
realize how
savings,
fragile people are.
Yeah, dude, for real,
the,
man.
the saving grace with all of it is we we can rest in knowing that he immediately saw Jesus.
Yeah,
Like that's
Mm-hmm.
dude,
and that's the hope. That's the hope for humanity that we have. Like that's I was just talking to my wife about this like literally last night about how like yeah, as tragic as that was, he is now he is now in exactly what he fought his entire life for.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
dude, and
And
so many people came to Christ because of it.
mhm.
So many people. He
Oh
inspired.
yeah, dude, it's I genuinely man, we can talk about that for like 4 more hours. I genuinely believe that like we are not the next revival, the next awakening is not coming. It's here. It's been here for
Yeah,
some time, and we are genuinely living through it. And it's given me hope, and like seeing even just in our own community, our church gatherings are way more packed than they've ever been in a very long time, and so that's the
What?
true hope that we have as Christ followers is like even though he was assassinated in cold blood, we know where he's at, we know who he's with,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
get to see him again someday. And
Well,
He's in a
that's
lot better place than we are.
Have you seen the
Yep.
statistics for like church, like people that go to church? And I don't know if you have or not, but the amount of millennials and Gen Zers going to church, like completely just blow out of the water like older generations. Like
Yep.
this generation is like blowing them out of the water with, going to church and finding faith, and it seems like the newer the generation, the more the number is, like, because Gen Zers are more than millennials, and it's just like it's getting more.
Well,
every revival and great awakening was started with teenagers.
Hmm.
That is a fact. That's a statistical reality. Um, the Azusa Street revival that was started with teenagers. The Assemblies of God See You at the Pole thing that was started with teenagers. The Jesus movement was started with teenagers. And we're seeing Gen Z and Gen Alpha. I'm passionate about this because my wife and I were in youth ministry for so long. Um, we are seeing a desire and a hunger for authenticity, and not and real relationship, not fake religion.
Hmm.
And it is a breath of fresh air knowing that it seems like we are starting to point in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at what the news, like you turn on the news and it's all just like nasty, bad stuff that's going on in the world that is just meant to scare you. And
Well, it's not. We're not. We're just not made to get this much information at
yeah,
once.
but
You know what I mean?
I think that's why like millennials and Gen Zers are just like flocking to church is because they see like all this stuff and they want that sense of peace, you know, and knowing that none of it matters because it's all going to be okay in the end. None of this here matters
Well, it's
because
also the community, dude. Like that's
yeah,
one of the things that I try to explain to my parents about my kids. You know, when me and my sisters were growing up in Albania, everybody knew everybody. Everybody looked out for every single kid. You know what I mean? Was there bad people? Yes, there were. But as a community, they kept the kids safe at all
hmm,
times. This is after communism, by the way. You know what I mean? After that fell and it was a democracy.
when you
It,
got a
it,
second wool sock.
yeah, I got two wool socks. No, but like, and that's what I try to explain to my parents. I'm like, I don't have that community. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
I have cool neighbors. If my kid, my oldest Colin, he's on the spectrum. If he like, let's say he finds a way out of the house, they don't know who he is. They don't know where he lives. You know what I mean? I could walk for 10 miles away from my house and somebody knew my dad and then they would see me and I'm like, "Oh no, they know my dad. I'm in trouble cuz I'm so far away from my house. Let me make my way back to this butt whooping that I'm going to get."
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know?
but
And that's one of the things, and that's also another thing. The reason why there's so many people that are finding Christ now, it has a lot to do with Charlie Kirk, especially the younger generation, because um, he spoke to them like they were grown adults.
hmm,
Hmm.
yeah,
He didn't belittle them. He didn't talk down to them. He spoke to them like they were grown adults. That I mean, they are technically they're 18 years
yeah,
and older, but the turning point did. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Trump is in office is because Turning Point and
yeah,
Charlie Kirk.
Trump has even come out and said himself that he wouldn't have been president without Charlie Kirk.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that they labeled him as spewing hate speech, but you know it wasn't hate speech; it was just speech that they hated.
Dude, I
And
saw this video today. It was like POV Charlie Kirk being racist for 2 minutes straight, and it was just a montage of him like being the nicest and most
yeah,
like graceful person to like minority groups, and it's
yeah.
like it's crazy, man.
I saw something like that. It was one video where a dude's like, I found a video where Charlie Kirk was racist, and then it was a black woman that had come up with her baby, and he was like, that is a beautiful baby.
That
He
was a
goes,
great video.
dude,
Yeah.
and it was like, yeah, dude, he was so racist, you know,
Mm,
and it was, but like obviously in a joking way, you
Yeah.
know, um,
I think this all comes down to ultimately, kind of you hit on this a little bit, Dimitri. Like we're in this crazy internet age where we're not meant to see all this stuff so frequently and so easily. And even something that Charlie said was like, touch grass, get off your phones. Ultimately,
mm-hmm.
we all know this. We experience this where we're doom scrolling all day long, but then if you like actually step back and look around you,
Mm,
most people are good people, and
mhm,
there are there are percentages of communities that, evil exists,
Mm-hmm.
but I think there's more good in the world than there is bad. Um,
The
and
media doesn't want you to know that.
pe- the media doesn't want you to know that, but people need to step back and just it's so hard because we're so sucked into it now, but people need to be enlightened and people need to I think that's why the community aspect of going to church, it has been so powerful and impactful, because people are like, man, I'm sick and tired of just living my life on the internet and not having connection with real human beings. And truthfully, the main place where like authentic connection happens is at church.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, man, it's
yeah.
crazy. I think this is just the beginning, though. I really do. I think this is just the beginning, and we're about to see a big kick,
Yeah.
you know, come up. I know you
Yep.
said we're in the big revival, but I think this is just the beginning of it, you know.
The best is yet to come.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Well, that's
oh
a good
shoot.
way to end this thing on a great positive note like that.
Yep, and my computer's about to die, so
All right.
perfect timing.
Well, Colin, thank you so much for joining us
Yes.
today, and we had church again today, brother, and I appreciate
Yes,
that.
sir.
Mhm.
All
That's
right.
that's the goal. That's I don't care about making money. I don't care about training people or
Mhm.
educating people as much as I care about people coming to know Christ, and
Mhm.
ultimately, that is my mission. I just happen to be a vessel that it's used for that, and the Lord put this specific way of doing so in front of me, and so I'm happy to be a part of the better ultimate goal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, tell everybody where they can find you.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really easy. You can find us on most of our updates happen on Instagram, just at Goliath Defense. It's the same thing on Facebook. We don't really have any other socials because honestly, all the other social platforms have either banned us completely or just shadow banned us. We might do a YouTube channel at some point, but that seems way more annoying than I think is worth.
YouTube get
So
a little
yeah,
banny.
follow us on Instagram at Goliath Defense, and then GoliathDefense.com for placing orders and staying updated with other things. If you're in the Willamette Valley and you happen to be watching this podcast, we will be having a portal online where you can order guns, and you can order them through our website, and we'll have them shipped here to the shop.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
All right. And as always, you can use 2AB at GoliathDefense.com and you get 10% off site wide.
Yep.
And then also, Cock Firearms. You're gonna need a gun for that holster that you're gonna buy. And same thing at that website, Goliath. Cox. This is why Josh does this, by the way. Josh is the wordsmith. But cockfirearms.com, use promo code 2AB and get 10% off site wide. All right.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for having me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and we
Thank you for coming
appreciate you
on
letting
here.
us go on your journey with, Goliath Defense and everything, and I wish you the best, man.
Thanks, man. I'm excited to see what the next year brings us.
Yeah,
We'll have to do another
Yeah.
podcast to update
Heck
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
definitely.
All right, everybody. I'm trying to find the outro. Give me
Good
one
night.
second. Oh, that's our sponsor. Look at that, Goliath Defense.